Today we're going to talk about common misconceptions about immigration in general. So in the past, we did a couple of videos talked about myths and legends with regards to certain immigration aspects, about how people can apply and how people can get in trouble and things like that. So today we're going to talk about some of the most recent ones we've been able to talk about with people and see if you know any of these and see how we can clarify some of these issues. So the first one is about people that think that just because they've been here for a long time, they automatically qualify for a work permit. Unfortunately, being here for a long time by itself does not qualify you for a work permit. You have to apply directly through some type of form of relief. For example, if you apply for DACA, then at that point you're eligible to apply for a permit. If you apply for a U visa, you can apply for a permit. If you're in immigration proceedings and you're applying for cancellation or removal, you can apply for a work permit. But all those are based on an application for relief, for some immigration relief. They don't just pop out of thin air because you've been here for a long time or because you're from a specific country. Now, from a specific country, if you're awarded TPS, then at that point, yes, you could be able to get a work permit. But again, it's tied to a form of relief. Number two is about people that think that if they're married out of the United States or in a different country, or they have kids in a different country, it doesn't count for immigration purposes. It absolutely does. Matter of fact, if you don't disclose that you have kids outside the United States or that you're married, it could be much worse. And you try to get married here and then have someone petition for you, that could be something that not only disqualifies you, but could put you in immigration proceedings. It's very, very important that if you are married somewhere else, that you take care of that marriage before you complete any immigration proceedings, or that you disclose that in your case, because they can determine then later that you try to commit fraud by not disclosing that information that you were married outside of the United States. Number three is that records delete themselves after some time. People think that based on their knowledge that traffic tickets, especially speeding tickets, basically go off your record after a while, then they're fine. The difference is that misdemeanors or felonies don't just go off your record like that. So if you commit a DUI or driving without a license, that's something that stays on your record. Deportations, same thing. I've seen people from deportations from 1971 that still show up on their record. So very important that you don't understand that those things don't just disappear. So if you have something more serious like that, it doesn't matter how much time has lapsed, that's still gonna show up on your record. Number four, if you think, people a lot of times think that if, for example, talking about DUIs, that if you're not above the 0.08 limit, then you are not, in violation of the DUI law. Unfortunately, it's difficult to be able to argue a case that you're even close to the legal limit, because you can still be charged with DUI less safe, meaning that if it's less safe for you to be driving, given your current state of immigration, then you should be charged with DUI less safe. So even if you're below the 0.08 limit, you can still be charged with a DUI. Number five is the fact that people think that just because they don't have status, they don't have to do taxes or they can't do taxes. That's incorrect. You can also get a tax ID and be able to apply for taxes that way and file your taxes, regardless of your status. So you can get a tax ID, file for your taxes. If you do them right, then you have at least a track record that you've been importing to the community. But if you file taxes but you're doing them wrong, you might as well not do them at that point, because it will cause you problems in the long run. So make sure you get a tax ID, you do your taxes, and you do them right. Last but not least is a lot of people think, well, nobody knows that I'm here in the United States. I'm like a ghost. Nowadays, you have biographic information, you have Face ID on most of these devices. So your face being shown all over the community, you are most likely to be recognized by some sort of biographic information system. Moreover, if you go get any kind of document at your consulate, passport, consular ID, anything that shows records that you applied for it here. Therefore, anything that you show your name, even in your schools, your kid's school, you put your name in the kid's school, that's public record that you then register your kid for school with your name, address, and everything. So trying to be a ghost nowadays is pretty difficult. So you are more likely to be discovered than at that point that you are here in the United States. So those are some of the recent subjects that we have talked with people. If you know of any other ones, you feel free to write them in the comments. If you want us to address any other ones, feel free to write us in the comments as well and put a hashtag Urbina Law Firm so we can find out, what other topics that might be of interest for you. If you want to do a little more privately, feel free to send us a private message and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Other than that, thank you for your attention and I hope you have a great day.